Okay. And the clicker is going now. It is time for How to Be Friends with David and Shawn. Hi, Shawn.
Hi, Dave.
Okay, so you and I have talked about. I like surprising you with stuff, right?
Yes.
I think you and I have talked about this before in the show. So it's time to do kind of a time capsule.
Okay.
Do you remember years ago? And I hope that this will be actually useful for people because it's kind of a thing. Do you remember years ago we had our fun little game building 72-hour kits?
Yes.
Yeah. So mine has been just sitting collecting dust, right?
Right.
And so
Nice bag you got there. I'm sure you bought that at an Army surplus.
I totally got it through legitimate and not taxpayer-funded means.
That was totally legitimate means. Yeah.
So there's a few things that I took off of this. Yes, sir. For anyone just listening on
Totes legitimate.
Yeah, Shawn just showed off some of his too. So what I'll say before I start digging into this.
Totes legitimate.
Yeah, legit. One of the things that I had on here, and I'll just say, this handle right here was really easy to hook the E-tool that we were issued to.
Yes.
So that's just a nice little tip. But I took that off because that's also handy to have in your car when you're going off-road and you don't want a full-size shovel.
Yeah, I've actually carried an E-tool in every car I've ever had just because it's a good pry bar or, it's just a decent tool to have. I carry one in my work van right now when I have to excavate.
Now, I don't mind making fun of myself as we do this, Shawn. I really don't.
All right.
Because I want this to be an opportunity for people to really think about how to do their 72-hour kits, not just buy stuff. So you and I know how to use this piece of shiz, right?
Yes. Is that an actual military Landsat compass or a knockoff?
It is your actual military Landsat compass. It's got the phosphorescence in it.
Okay.
The little wire in it, features that you genuinely need. The magnifying glass.
Right. And honestly, for most people, that's not going to do any good unless you know orienteering.
Right. Now, and not only knowing orienteering, but do you have the local map for the area in your bug out bag?
So I do, but it's not going to be the type you use with a Landsat compass. So a Landsat compass, for anybody who doesn't know, is useful for shooting what they call an azimuth. You look on a map, and you look at the map, and then you look around you, and you try to recognize points on that map based off of what you see. Usually it's mountaintops, things like that. Mm-hmm. On a military map, for a specific area, they're very detailed. It shows you where power lines are, where roads are, where creeks are, stuff like that. Trying to use a Landsat compass and shoot an azimuth off of a road atlas is difficult. So what I would tell anybody out there listening is the same thing I would tell David. If you go to your local Bureau of Land Management office, available for purchase are usually very large printouts of maps for specific areas. They usually break the state or the area down into very detailed regions. They are not cheap, however, they are worth having. And for me, because I do a lot of off-roading and I've been in Nevada forever, I pretty much have a map of each area that surrounds me. It won't do you any good if you're lost in Nebraska.
No. That being said, if you are in the ROTC, first off, I'm sorry. Second off, it's worth buying these because you're going to be doing land nav all the time and they will get lost and not have enough,
Right. And strap that thing to yourself because it will disappear.
Yeah.
And the price hasn't changed on a Landsat compass in years, but you can't. David has a phosphorescent magnetic compass. You can get the tritium ones. They're a little more expensive. They are completely unnecessary. If you're doing light land nav, Get a phosphorescent one, blast it with a flashlight for a second, and you'll be fine.
So I'm going to say this real quick.
Yes.
Yeah, you should have a good set of nice stormproof matches, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, some way to start a fire.
Right. Yeah, and good point made. It doesn't have to be stormproof matches, but you need some way to start a fire. These are just kind of great because, you know, they burn for a while. Have you seen the damn pull start fire bricks, though?
No, does it have like a drawstring on it and you pull it and it lights it?
Okay, yeah. Hey, if any company wants to sponsor this podcast, Pull Start Fire would be totally great, and you can totally expose yourself to our 10 followers. That stuff is legit, man.
Between me and David, we will light something on fire.
Guaranteed. I'd go grab a brick of it, but it's just showing you a brick. You look up Pull Start Fire. That stuff is legit. I took that stuff out to the beach in friggin' Long Beach there, where it's impossible to get a fire started because it's windy and sand is blowing in your fire and it sucks.
Now,
To
clarify, not Long Beach, California.
Long Beach, Washington. Good clarification. I just put a pile of wood over it and pulled that damn string, and I had a full roaring fire in less than 5 minutes. It's ridiculous.
That's awesome.
I believe, yeah, and they advertise as being able to light wet wood in really cold temperatures. I believe it. I 100% believe it. So that's just for consideration when starting fires. Oh, that's funny. This might also be what gets us banned. Extra magazine. I guess that can't hurt, right?
What?
So
why is it all rattly?
Because it's a mag pull.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a loose pull right there.
I had a mag pull and my father stole it.
Man, to be fair, if you make a bug out bag, don't forget the stuff that's in it, just in case like someone makes a law that you have to lock up ammo too.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't think. I think I yarded mine out of my bug out bag. I haven't bought ammo in a while. I'm completely out of 5.56.
Ooh, and that's a good time. That's a good segue to the teaser. So I'll just say real quick here. You and I were discussing how I bought a Bond Arms Rowdy Derringer style in 410 45 Colt 3-inch barrel.
Yeah,
I will totally do the unboxing of that thing on the next podcast for those of you who are interested. I'm excited because apparently it will destroy my wrist, so maybe I'll have to get a video of me firing it as well.
Yeah, and I got the. It's actually right up there. Is the P30SK.
Excellent.
But yeah, ammo. You have to buy ammo for that thing.
Oh, yeah. Thankfully, I have enough 410 laying around, so this is kind of fun.
I do too.
Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop. One of these little things.
Yeah.
I wonder if the chemicals in these are still good.
I don't know. My father told me about using those when he was in, because when you're still in. By the time we got in, we didn't use those.
Right.
I can't remember what that chemical's called. We didn't use those because we had MREs. But my father said his first experience with those was being in the jungle in jungle warfare training, trying to stay warm under a poncho. And he didn't realize how much chemicals they gave off when they burned. Essentially gassing himself out under a poncho.
You're going to get high.
Yeah.
So for those of you who haven't figured out, this is just a portable stove and a portable fuel source. Like you're talking about, military application is that you can put anything in your canteen holder, your metal canteen holder, put it on top of this, light it up, and, you know, it might get lukewarm in an ideal world. So, again, when we're talking about your bug out bag stuff, if I already have a method to start a fire, do I need these little guys in here? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't know. I guess it's simplicity.
Right. I guess. I don't know how much smoke.
It comes down to how much crap you're willing to carry.
Right. As we've talked about in this podcast before, if you have all of the supplies in the universe, but you're not prepared to face an emergency and you're not physically fit,
You're a loot drop.
that's right.
Hey, look
Just
at that
get
fat
ready.
guy with all that survival shit.
So
Oh,
I'm actually going to open this because
your
this is
expired emergency survival. Your emergency bandage.
right. Shawn, do you have any opinions? Oh, hey, look at this. Perfect timing for this. I don't know if you can read this, but the expiration date on this is this month, this year.
Two days from now.
Like to say I planned that. We can do, anyone who's interested, comment at this point. But if y'all want a cover of like how to use some of the first aid stuff, like your handy dandy Israeli trauma bandage, which I can go ahead and open for this podcast because, I mean, I can get them anytime. We can totally go over it.
Your podcast, by the way, I just want to let you know, with every iteration of your podcast, you push it more towards a visual medium.
Yeah, because I haven't uploaded to Google Podcasts in months.
So are you just uploading to YouTube at this point?
Yeah.
Okay. So all 10 of our listeners and watchers are watching on YouTube.
Yeah. Okay. So, but that being said,
right.
I do have some people who listen while we're driving, so I do like to describe things and talk about things on occasion.
Okay.
And from what I've heard, we do a pretty good job of shifting topics, basically with however long it takes to get to a location. So you can set it down and come back to it later. So thank you, those people who are doing that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, constructive criticism is the best because honestly, just let us know what we suck at. We'll work on it.
It'll be funny.
My wife's been doing that for 11 years, so.
Still working on it. Still working on it.
Still working on it.
Yeah. Everyone knows that you need to have a tourniquet, but tourniquet, I mean, how long are you going to keep that on? So your Israeli trauma bandage, is meant to control bleeding on an injury site.
Yeah.
By having the same kind of cross pressure mechanism that makes a tourniquet work. You wrap it all the way around, you stick it through this thing, you pull it back, and it's like a padded ace wrap with a lot of extra torque.
Right. And if your bug out bag, if you have a tourniquet and you're alone in a bug out situation and you have to tourniquet yourself, you're screwed. You're boned. There is no. Watch Black Hawk Down. See what happens when you apply a tourniquet and you can't get extraction and you die at 2 a.m. because the medic can't find the artery.
Yeah. Wow, this one expired in 2016. Not that these things really expire, but if you buy these, they've got little instructions on the outside, so that's nice.
Most likely the expiration for those is based off of, I wouldn't say necessarily sterility, but the stretchiness and the
elasticity.
The elasticity in the band. Kind of like how underwear will wear out over time. It gets dry and cracked.
Yeah, I've had some pairs of underwear for more than 20 years, though, so. It is legit to make sure that your stuff is waterproof, and some of these, like, Army surplus water-resistant bags are pretty legit. I have no idea what's in this, though. Let's find out.
And so is a gallon Ziploc bag.
And, your little first aid kit. Loose ass ace wrap. That's great.
Nice.
Old gauze pads. That's fine. These are pretty cool. Sam splints are super useful.
I always carry those for me because you could use those for a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Everything from a little finger splint. Thank God. Steri strips.
Those are killer.
Dude, I used up a whole package of these just on my kids. If you're a parent, these can keep you from having to go to the ER.
Yeah.
I mean, you still might want to anyway.
Honestly, if you're a parent without medical training, you should probably go to the ER.
Right. But on 3 separate occasions, my kids got injured requiring these. 2 of the times I took them to the ER, and each time they were like, good job, $500 now, please. Loose gauze. Gauze does everything. Have gauze. So, again.
Lube.
And your NPA.
Do we even use NPAs anymore? Yeah,
We
we do.
absolutely, yes,
We just don't use OPAs really anymore, right?
not as much. We still keep them, like our FRSD absolutely has them, but there's less application when you're just a medic in the dirt.
NPA is a nasal pharyngeal airway. It's a tube you stick into the nose that goes basically down the airway to maintain it. An OPA is a plastic hook that you place in a mouth that keeps the tongue off the back of the throat to maintain the airway.
For those of you looking, it's you do this little measuring thing from the corner of the mouth to the corner of the ear. So this is about the right size for me.
Sure, you can measure it. Sure, you don't just throw it down the throat.
Right. You can go ahead and use your lube for your personal fun if you want, because you can also lubricate it with spit. That being said, once again, if you're building a bug out bag, what sort of situation are you going to be putting this in yourself?
Right. You're not.
So, I mean, I might have been thinking about family and stuff when I put some of this together, but still, you absolutely have to have a good set of trauma shears.
I carry trauma shears in my work tools because of the amount of stuff I have to cut. If you, a good pair of trauma shears is better than a decent knife.
But yeah, I can get behind that. Lots of steri strips. I wonder if these are still good, because I need more of these. These expire. They were made in 2015. They're probably still good. I have to go through some of this stuff. Your cravats are great for a variety of reasons. I have one in my uniform all the time, largely because, I mean, they have all sorts of applications. I'm always PMCSing vehicles, checking oil and stuff. Having a rag on you is handy for that. Sometimes I just need a damn napkin, etc. Wow, I put a lot of ace wrap in here. So there's the loose cravat. That's excellent. Yeah. All right, let's see what else we got here. Hey. Again, redundancy. I just opened up the first aid kit that I put together, and here's another first aid kit.
Oh, you got one of those cute little plastic box ones.
This is nice because it is within itself.
Didn't we find those in an old supply room at some point?
Oh God, look at these Band-Aids and how brown they're getting.
Yeah.
Throwing that out. So yeah, these have some gloves in them. These are waterproof.
Those are gone. Yeah.
But I mean, it's just.
For those of you listening, let me explain how this works.
Yeah.
We would occasionally be tasked to transfer a building to another building, or go through a supply cage. And what happens is the Army buys a disposable product and they assume it's going to be gone. And then we end up throwing probably half a supply cage into a dumpster. So when you see Dave pulling out all this Vietnam era shit, it's because we were tasked with throwing all this stuff away. And it's still good, but it's in such small amounts that they don't want it back because it literally costs more for a human being to sort it, to build a pallet, to sell it on surplus than it does just to throw the shit away.
Let's put it to you this way. If people decided it was cost effective to leave everything in Afghanistan instead of bringing it home, then yeah, an eye dressing is probably not going to get sent back to the Army.
Okay, so how many condoms did the Air Force bring to Bosnia?
Oh, like boxes and boxes of those things.
And the Air Force literally brought them because they said, we had a pallet of condoms in Germany, had nothing to do with them. We figured we'd bring them to Bosnia. And we said, so you want us to back it back up? And he was like, no, leave it on the sidewalk. We don't care.
Right. Right. Now, for real, your eye dressings, good idea to have in a bug out bag. Real good idea. You got a good chance of taking an eye injury. And if you can at least keep it from getting infected, that's a good idea. I put a lot of ace wrap in here. Old tape. Just use duct tape. Oh, look at that. Ask and ye shall receive.
Yeah.
I'm going to make use of that later. Good. Look at that.
Every time you slam stuff on the desk, it is fucking your mic up. You should probably stop doing that.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Ew! This is a good ass item.
Eyebrow?
What's that?
Eye protection?
Although that's a good idea. This is your little water filter.
Water filtration thingamadoohickey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which you can get those pretty cheap now anywhere.
Yeah. I think Amazon sells, I mean, you can get some really stupid personal ones for like $20. They're just basically like a glorified straw. But this one's at least nice because this little bad boy will float in the water and kind of filter some of the particulates out. And then you just pump it out. It comes out here. You can fill a container. That being said, I've drank the water from this, and yes, it's clean, and yes, it's pure, but it still tastes like river water.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you're you're reducing but not completely eliminating that chance of giardia.
So I will say to anyone stuck in the apocalypse, because it's my it's also my work. If the apocalypse starts, for the first few days until the diesel fuel and water pressure runs out, you can get reverse osmosis water at your local dialysis center.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, because you guys have a RO system.
Yeah, in case of emergency. I guess I should keep that with that. So for real, though, that's something that people ought to just have. Oh, this is fun. If you're going to have your bug-out bag blanket, get one of the real solid, durable ones like these.
Yeah.
I mean, this is inexpensive. You can get one of these for like nothing, so you don't have to fall for the stupid commercials. This sleeping bag / tent / blanket will save your life. No, just bear in mind, as they get old, they do start like peeling apart. So
it's a bug out snuggie.
It is a bug out snuggie.
A buggy.
Ooh, we're gonna see what's in here. Golly, I have a lot of gross old Cobalt. Oh, it's not bad. You need a good pair of tweezers.
Yeah.
Gotta have those. That's important. Start tossing the stuff on the floor. That's not enough tape for anything. I don't know how I feel about having a pen light, but at least with this one, it's a blue one. So that's kind of nice, I guess. Do you remember why we use the cobalt blue, Shawn?
Is it to see scratches with dye?
Yeah, help to see blood. Contrast it.
It helps to see blood? I don't know. I always just used fucking standard light. I don't know.
Yeah, these are really good. Your little tweezers with the magnifiers on it. Excellent. Good pair of working gloves. That's nice. More cravats than you can shake something at. Okay, so here's a couple of things that I want to talk about in this one. This bag is great, but again, redundancy. Why do I have 2 water filtration kits? That's weird. The hell was I thinking? Tell me what I was thinking, Shawn.
Where's your sunscreen and your boonie hat and the shit to keep you from you see, here's the thing about bug out bags. People don't think about environmental hazard enough.
Yep, you will get sunburned. The combination radio flashlight charger thing. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about these anymore. I don't know that we're going to be putting out a whole lot of information over the FM anymore. But at least it's a light, I guess.
Get it. $30-$40. Get a good like weather alert radio that runs on batteries.
This is a good idea though. Trash bags.
Yes. Gotta have a place to put your poo.
Absolutely. Your poop. If you are on the lam for whatever reason, you don't want to leave evidence behind. If you can. Yeah, I use the term. Why the heck not? Store water in. What the hell? So, again, redundancies. How many of these did we end up with, Shawn?
Moist towelettes.
moist towelettes, and books of matches. I don't even
One
know.
in every MRE. Which is one thing I would like if you could send me, would be some MREs.
I'll see what I can get for you. I like your Scorpio mug.
Oh, yeah, this is my wife's, because you got to explain away the bad behavior some way.
Yeah. Hey, look at that. They still work. That's not bad.
Yeah.
So if you can get your hands on apparently leftover army matches, that's pretty good. I'm going to hand those over to Sam. This is also a pretty good idea. Two things in here. For those of you who do have availability to MREs, your MRE beverage bags are really damn useful. But it is legitimate not to get too bored.
So if you're gonna get bicycle playing cards for your bug out kit, get plastic ones. They make them.
Yep.
They make them for like camping and poolside stuff, and they're durable and they're great. The military, I always wanted to buy them, but I could never justify the cost. Was those fucking night vision red light ones that they make for like tankers?
Oh yeah, that's ridiculous.
Plastic night vision, like, because I'm gonna put on nods to play pinochle.
So Shawn,
Yeah.
here's your scenario. You have a delicious can of Dinty Moore beef stew, and you're starving. You're ready to crack into it.
Right.
Would you rather A, shove your knife into it and open it, B, hit it with a rock and open it, or C, use this little guy?
It's the P38, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Which one?
I have one of those on my keychain. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to use that. But when we first got married, we were trying to make dinner. It was late, and we lived in Oregon, so no stores were open, and our can opener broke. And I had to open a lot of cans with that thing. And my hand hurt for like a week. But yeah, they're great. I think they're like 78 cents at your local Army Navy.
They're not bad. For real, though?
Toothbrush? Yeah.
Toothbrush. Good-ass idea.
I carry one in my truck, yeah.
Yep. For real, 550 cord?
Yeah.
And by the way, so anyone listening, watching this podcast, they make a glow-in-the-dark 550 cord now, which is great.
They make a reflective one, too. You can get, here's the thing, the reflective one, you can get it at Home Depot or Lowe's. Like, they sell it.
My friend, how many times have you been clotheslined in a tent in the dark?
Yes, so when we put up my father's stuff, we used the reflective 550 cord, because if you walk through his backyard, you will absolutely garrote yourself.
Yes. So this was a pretty good consideration. Yes, you definitely need a bar of soap, right?
Yes.
My question is, do you need both the regular bar of soap and the lava soap? Or is the lava soap good enough? What do you think?
I mean, it's one scrubby soap. I don't know.
This stuff is bomb.
Use lava. I would just carry a nail brush.
There you go. That's why we're doing this, so y'all can think about how to do your bug up.
And take it from somebody who works with human feces all day. Nail brush is required. Or a sushi restaurant for 2 hours. Your entire truck, and you come home smelling like fish.
This is a great call.
I have lost more Gerbers. I'm out of Gerbers, too. Hey, if you hit a supply anytime soon. Spare pair of those laying around.
Actually, okay, Gerbers are great products. Great products. You and I were in when we were issued Gerbers, and they were super useful. And I still have the original one that I've used.
I have lost all of them, yes.
I'm even going to say it was a waste to have this in my bug out bag all of this time, because you remember all of the bags of saline that we used to open up and throw away at the hospital? That like rusted up my Gerber. I should start taking this one with me. Plus, these are the needle nose type, but Man, I tell you what, you can get anything done with one of these things. So
You can. You can also get, who's the other one? There's Gerber and
there's a bunch of good companies.
Kershaw, and you can get a really nice custom one too.
Yeah. Now that being said, Gerber is now a genericized trademark for these. You can get quality versions of these by any brand, but now we just call them Gerbers. It's like a Bandage, Shawn. Band-Aid is a trademark of Johnson & Johnson Company, but nobody asked for an adhesive bandage.
You're a trademark of a Johnson.
Yeah, no kidding. I have had this knife, honestly, since I've been about 15 years old. And I'm kind of glad I found it again. But this sucks for a bug out bag.
Yeah, it's not really super heavy duty.
You need a fixed blade.
Yeah, so you need a fixed blade. Here's my suggestion. Either, if you're going to get a folding knife, this is made by K-Bar.
Oh, nice.
If it goes dull, you can just smack somebody with it. Or
now that we're all looking at Shawn's butt crack, which is, I don't know what he's saying, but it is totally valid that our friend has become a kind of plumber and there's no way for him to keep his pants up. So anyone listening, feel free to fund a set of suspenders for Shawn so that he doesn't show off his butt crack anymore.
Yeah, trust me, weight loss is one of the reasons I'm trying to get to not being shaped like a pear anymore. What I was going to say is buy a bayonet. What is it? The M9.
Oh.
Bayonets are not made to be super sharp. However, they are super thick material, which means you can strap them down or hit them with a log to break wood or something like that. And you can usually get an M9 bayonet used on eBay pretty cheap.
Yeah, you can. So I want to make a point. If your tourniquet is so deep in your bug out bag that it's the last thing that you dig out, it's in the wrong place.
Yeah. Your tourniquet should ideally be accessible immediately, which means if you're going to wear a gun belt, because everybody has a gun belt, or you're going to wear a load-bearing system, you should probably have a tourniquet on it.
This is an older one.
Do you carry a tourniquet when you're in uniform still? Do you carry it in one of your lower pockets?
No, I always have the cravat and I always have the little aluminum glass breaker pen. So in a pinch, I can make a tourniquet. You know?
Okay. Yeah.
Things? Yeah. So a couple of distinctions here. This is not the oldest tourniquet that you and I have handled.
No.
Because the windlass here is thickened.
Yeah, it's thicker in the middle.
Right. But it's old enough that it still has two of these. Two of these little eyelets.
Oh, okay.
So if anyone out there watching the podcast wants to get themselves a tourniquet, first off, just like we're talking about, as long as you have something that works as a windlass and something that can be tightened down, you've got your tourniquet. But you need to make sure that either this is thickened, hardened plastic, or it's made out of some kind of metal or aluminum and so forth.
Right. So your options are, because I don't know if you have it there, you have the thicker windlass on the standard CAT, Combat Application Tourniquet, or you have the aluminum windlass as is found on the Soft T. I think it's a Soft T.
Yep, that is the Special Operations Field Tourniquet. Now, that being said, we don't have the two eyelets anymore. We've got these built up now that you don't have to run it through both of these.
Yeah, mine still has the two eyelets.
Exactly. If you have a tourniquet with two eyelets, you do have to know that your tourniquet does have to go through both if you're going to put pressure on a lower extremity, like a leg.
You might end up using 2 tourniquets on a leg, honestly, depending on how.
That is actually, that's doctrine.
Yeah.
1 tourniquet for your hasty tourniquet, they call it, just to get going. And then if you don't put a second tourniquet on a leg, it's not going to work. But that's part of the reason that it's fun to go through this is that's the critical thinking of putting together a bug out bag, thinking about emergencies, what have you, is that if you put 2 tourniquets on a limb and it's still bleeding and your brain doesn't go, well, maybe I could try a third. If you're sitting there thinking, oh, but I put 2 on, it's supposed to stop. You don't worry. You're about to die and you were going to anyway because you're that dumb. Critical thinking. You're gonna need it. So, anyone who went through the whole dig through with this, I think the bottom line is that you really have to consider your Maslow's hierarchy of needs, your food, your shelter, your water, just for the next 72 hours. And don't let anyone tell you there's a perfect bug out bag. When you make your bug out bag, make the stuff specifically for what you feel like you'll need.
Yes.
If you've got medications, you need 72 hours worth of medications with that bug out bag. You need to, switch those out.
Yeah. Also, you got to set a reminder on your phone like every 6 months because the shit expires.
Sure does.
Like when you grab your 8-year-old bug out bag and everything's falling apart as you open it. The Tylenol's broken down to dust.
Yeah. They're going to be super effective to make you feel better there. So obviously that's a good point. I don't have meds here. When you think about the principle of a bug out bag as well, it's worth considering what circumstance do you need to have those things in a bag to grab and run immediately.
Yeah, and I mean, in most cases, people, build a bug. My problem with the bug out bag is it's usually, when you think of a bug out bag, you think of, I'm going to run away from the government. There's civil unrest. Really, you should build it. If you go to the American Red Cross's website, it will tell you exactly what you should have in a bag. You can put it in a box. You can put it in a cardboard box. You can put it in a tube. You want to keep that shit safe and you have room, but you don't want to worry about stacking a bag, go down to Home Depot or Lowe's, get an 8-inch piece of PVC pipe, 2 rubber end caps, and just stuff all that crap in there. It's going to keep it sealed and safe.
That being said, I'll talk about old Colonel Sutherland again. His family of 6, he did make a bug out bag for each of the kids. And if you're talking about your kids, that's a really good idea because trying to get them to think ahead and grab stuff quickly, yeah.
And also, if it's your family, I mean, just, grab a box or a crate. It doesn't have to be, if you're going to bug out in your car, just make sure it's something you can put in your car. Just put it in a big box.
Mm-hmm. That being said, my friend, some of these plug-in hybrid electric vehicles and a solar panel seem like a real good idea to be able to get out of places for a while.
Yeah.
Drive at night, let it charge during the day while you're sleeping.
Yeah.
That might be fun.
Yeah, it's a good idea in theory, sure.
In theory. And that's the thing as well, is of course, anytime you're putting together anything for an emergency, get ready for your plan to go to crap, because it will.
Yeah. Take your bug out bag, go camping for a night, and you'll find out real quick how badly you fucked up.
Which really is a great idea.
It really is a good test. If you build a bug out bag, honestly, if you have a night off and you have a patient spouse, say, I'm going to go pretend I'm a survivalist and go in your backyard. Now, if you live in an HOA, well, you can still light a fire, just keep it controlled. But yeah, you're going to find out real quick when you're knocking on the glass door at 10:30 at night for your spouse to let you in because you're freezing your ass off.
Yeah, which is a valid point. In my bug out bag, what did I have besides that blanket to keep myself warm?
Nothing.
And there's some stuff that I did end up taking out of that at some points. I do remember that I had an extra pair of boots in there, which is a really good call as well. It might be worth having a change, at least a change of pants, for God's sake,
Right.
among a few other things. But
there are also, you can get them on Amazon. Like you were talking about the playing cards. My suggestion to anybody who has no knowledge of this, the first thing you need to learn is like the basic knots.
Oh,
because
for real,
knowing
yeah.
how to tie a couple of knots will make everything so much easier. And you can get sets of playing cards, not guide playing cards, that actually show you how to do the knots on the playing cards. Put them in your bag, and it is super helpful because knowing the proper type of knot will help you do cool stuff like screw around out in the middle of Eastern Oregon, building
all sorts of things.
sunshades attached to an LMTV that you have to suddenly deattach when somebody gets hurt.
I'm going to shift over to a piece of news just because it's pretty good news. But
you are 46 minutes in. Yeah.
Well, it's 41 minutes recorded. We're doing good.
Oh, okay.
Not that it matters a whole lot to stay under the hour anymore because
I don't think it does,
I'm
no.
not putting it on audio anymore. But let me get back to the point.
In fact, I was going to actually bring this up. If we're going to do this, if we can't make it happen weekly and we should do it bi-weekly.
Sure.
We should probably just do a 2-hour session.
Yeah. Let us know. Let us know what you like. Especially let us know if you really liked going through this. This was really fun when you and I did it back in the day. For anyone preparing for any kind of an emergency, man, get with a friend. It's How to Be Friends with Dave and Shawn. Get with a friend. Be like, hey, man, I want to make a bug-out bag. I want to make a bug-out bag. I think the way that you and I did it is we gave each other a month in between a drill.
It was a month and like limited to $100 or $50 or something.
Right. And
we literally had to scrounge it.
Right. And less than 40 pounds.
Yes.
Because, again, for real, if you're not used to friggin' humping your gear around, you're going to find out how tough
suck.
So, yeah, have fun with that. It's better to be poorly prepared than not at all. Now, that being said, Shawn, I don't know if you heard about this latest news article about this fight between these young men in a mall in New Jersey.
Over shoes.
I'm sure it was over shoes or something. Police were called. It was a young Caucasian man and a young African-American male. And it's getting the news media storm because the young Caucasian male was pushed to the couch. The young African-American male was pinned and handcuffed. And, of course, we're jumping on this before we know anything. The normal procedure with this is that anytime something like this happens, there's an investigation, and the department will determine whether or not it was a good cause, right? Whether or not someone was resisting arrest or what have you. So, of course, we're making prejudgments already. The country is very racist. All right. Here's a little bit of advice. Cooperate with the police, right?
Right.
If you are getting treated terribly, find yourself a good attorney after the fact. Don't try to make it better by fighting back or anything. Get yourself a good attorney. And here's why. I want to pull this up specifically because this is a really good example of really how the system does work. If we're going to talk about how bad cops are, I want to talk about how good cops are too. So, in this, I don't know how well you can see this. In this picture here, that guy there, not the attorney up front, but the policeman in the background there. I was watching the news clip on this. And this is not super old. I don't want to go too far in this, but 58-year-old Clarence Gaillard, physically assaulted by a former officer, settled for $650,000.
Nice.
So here was the circumstances of it. And like I say, I watched the video. It's out there on the internet if you want to see it. But there was a call for a disturbance. There was the claim that someone was trying to break into a property. The first officer responding, the one pictured there, sees someone who matched the description. This 58-year-old Clarence Gilliard, African-American male, matched the description. This cop gets out of his car, pulls his gun, and immediately starts yelling at this guy to get down, blah, blah, blah. It escalates a little bit because the guy isn't following instructions very well. And I'm going to say once again, if a police officer gives you instructions, follow them. The officer then, he, with his gun still out, comes up on the man there, forces him to the ground in such a way that he received lacerations to the scalp and bruises and so forth, until the other officers finally arrived and started figuring out what was going on. And it quickly became apparent that this man, Clarence Gilliard, had a developmental disability.
Okay.
And therefore, that's why he wasn't following instructions very well. I don't even know if it has those details in there. Now, thankfully, this man, Gilliard, had a neighbor who came out and filmed everything and started asking for this officer's card, right? Things de-escalated when the other officers arrived. But one of the things that made me really happy is there's this female sergeant on site gathering all of the information as she should. And she clearly did a good job because the settlement was able to be reached. That said, this neighbor, looking out for his friend, asks this officer for his card, to which he responds, "Oh, I'm sorry, the department doesn't give us those."
Was that a lie?
The sergeant on the scene says, "Excuse me, yes, we do. Here's my card, and I will write his name and badge number on it for you."
Yeah, good for her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because...
Also, I don't have a card. Then write your name and badge number down on a piece of paper.
Right. So I wanted to just emphasize this because we would rather that bad instances never happen, but obviously problems always do happen. And so this particular scene made it really, really nice because of the fact that it proves that good officers do exist that will actually turn the tables on bad officers and make sure that justice can be done. And once again, a point that we've made on this podcast before, Shawn, how much would you charge for me just to knock you on the concrete?
Man, I'd do 500.
Right?
650
Again,
sounds good.
In the moment, nobody was thinking about getting paid, but I sincerely hope anyone out there that has a bad run-in with the cops does exactly like happened with this.
I'll take a $500,000 to get beaten to the ground. Yeah.
Heck yeah. I guarantee that attorney did not cost $650,000. That man got paid, and thank heavens.
I broke my hand 4 months ago during work, and I haven't gotten crap out of that.
Right.
So you want to break my hand in a use of force incident and give me a $500,000? Dude, hey, if you need to practice use of force, I'm here.
Yeah, I think the drill sergeants did that with you as well, and you didn't.
I've been broken so many times and not getting money out of it because I keep getting broken on duty. I need an over-aggressive cop whose wife he just caught screwing his best friend who's got a tricky bro. I really need him to just baton me to the ground so I can finally pay off my student loans.
Do you still have student loans from your degree, man? That sucks.
I only have a couple grand left.
Still.
They'll eventually get that money.
Yeah.
I need it right now. Sorry.
My friend, the joke
You'd have it sooner if you gave me my $500 a month child tax credit back.
Uh-huh. My, by the way, someone did the math. on our stimulus money, friggin' inflation now is roughly worth $3,000 per year.
Dude,
so
my wife was so pissed last night. She came back. She goes, I went to the Dollar Tree last night. And I go, okay. She goes,
yeah.
It's now $1.25. And I go,
Uh-huh.
what? She goes, every Dollar Tree, it's not $1 anymore. It's $1.25. And I was like, well, there's the inflation we were looking for.
Yes,
99
sir.
cents went to $1. Dollar went to $1.25.
No, okay, I gotta show you this. Shawn, because I'm a big fan. I know you're not. So I'm gonna get right into this here. And of course, I'm a fan of fast food. I shouldn't be. I'm going to try your ally idea, and we're going to see how much I poop, right? But can you read?
McDonald's adds a Taco Bell favorite to its menu.
Do you remember what the McDonald's menu was like before coronavirus?
No, I didn't eat at McDonald's that much.
That's okay. People forget the effects that coronavirus has had on our society. You had salads, you had custom like burgers, lots of different chicken sandwiches, breakfast options, all sorts of things. And of course, coronavirus hits and they got to pare down to just the stuff that sells. Well, it's time that the crazy stuff starts coming out again. Shawn, how much would you pay for a burger with chips on it?
I'm going to counter offer you. If you offered that to me, I would take the money out of my pocket. Then I'd punch you in the face. And then I would require you to pay me for having insulted me to that. What nightmare is this?
This is apparently
is what looks like a double quarter pounder with cheese with with all the no toppings. We have a bun which is sandwiched between two delicious beef patties. 2 layers of what I would assume is mild or medium cheddar cheese. 2 slices of tomato. And then onions, nacho chips and nacho cheese. That's and right. Onions?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Listen, I shouldn't throw stones in a glass house. I know I'm out of shape. I don't eat healthy. Listen, you fat fucking pieces of shit. If this is something you're fucking excited for, go die. If this is the highlight of your week, if McDonald's seriously was like, we're gonna rock the standard, screw you. Screw you, McDonald's. This is unnecessary. And there's 2 reasons for that. One, that's way too slick. That's like, I'm going to buy one of these because I ran out of grease for my wheel bearings. 2, I'm going to bite into that burger and it is immediately going to cut the roof of my mouth. I hate you. You are the devil. Why is this necessary? Gross. Gross. And what is a McShaker fry? What is that in the background? What is that?
It is nacho cheese flavored fries. And this is an item that is in the Spain McDonald's. It's not in the United States yet.
Okay.
Yet.
All right.
And again, full disclosure, I'm a big fan of McDonald's. I love that stuff because the reality is, what do you expect from a $3 burger?
Yeah. Here's the deal. I will totally take the incest portion of the story where the 2 daughters get the father drunk and have sex with them if at least the payoff is God turning everyone to fucking salt because of shit like this.
That would be a reference, of course, to the Old Testament, where Abraham's daughters thought the world was ended and their only way to continue the human race was to have marital relations with their own father. I
want the angry God back. Your forgiving God can eat shit. I want the angry God back. to put an end to stuff like this. I want the angry, vengeful God who turns people to salt, who kills babies unless you put blood across your door. I want to live in a world where God sees this and his failed creation and ends the experiment.
Correct. That said, I would like to thank the Bible in this moment for at least being honest with us about the crazy stuff that was happening in the Old Testament. New Testament is not as brave as the Old Testament. Old Testament was like, hey, we gonna talk about that dude who had sex with everyone in town and then killed 3,000 Philistines with a friggin' donkey bone? Yeah, let's include that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Good for you guys. Now,
because
Shawn,
in this case, I would take that executive to the top of the mountain because God told me to. And raise the knife above him because God told me to. And then God said, no, I was testing your faith to make sure you would do this. And I would say, ha, God, got you beat. And then I would stab him in the chest repeatedly. And then nacho cheese would come from his body because he's a fucking shapeshifter.
I want to make this point again. The love McDonald's. They have added items to their menu on occasion that, I just wanted to grab on the way home. For a little while, they had like cheese sticks on their menu, and I'm a fat piece of crap, and I'm like, let me get some mozzarella cheese sticks, and their cheese sticks sucked. So even if you're sitting here thinking, well, I could go. Right. I could go for a side order of nachos on my way home for like $3 or whatever. Yeah, cool. That sounds great. We're talking about McDonald's.
Then go to an Arco station.
Thank you.
If you hit a if you're going to eat gas station food, don't pay McDonald's prices.
Correct. I have one more thing that I want to hit you with, Shawn. Because it's not really our podcast if we don't do something car related. So you and I were talking about how a car in another country has to exist for 20 years before it can be imported, right?
Yeah.
Shawn, did you know that Jeeps were made in Japan for some 40 years?
4 years?
40.
Yes.
Did you know that?
Yes, I knew they were produced in Japan.
Okay. That being said, do you know about the different engine options that they had available?
Probably something I would love to have, but no.
I don't know if this is popping up for you, but for 45 years, Mitsubishi made your exact same copy of your classic Wrangler right there. The difference being, I don't know if you can see right there, 2.7 liter diesel 4-cylinder engine.
See, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
You could pull the moon out of the sky with that thing. That'd be so great.
I mean, it's the four bangers are not that great. So for comparison, the AMC Straight 6 was either a 4-liter or a 4.2 liter. 2.7 liter diesel 4-cylinder. You're almost half the space in the cylinder.
Correct.
They are torquey. But I wouldn't say it would be better.
Man, I would love it though.
It'd be great to have, like, if I had the money to right now, I would take my XJ and I would actually swap a Cummins 4-banger into it because they do make kits to do that.
And it's kind of a shame.
Oh, look at the little Mitsubishi logo. It's so cute.
Right. I absolutely love that.
Is that one available for sale?
Yeah, it was saying there in the article that you could get this imported, license tagged, and everything for just under about $13,000.
Oh, shit.
Right. And that kind of Jeep, diesel and everything for that little of a price, and hilariously right side driving.
Oh, my God. And I love the taillights they put on that thing. Look at that.
Right. Let's see if they've got a picture of the engine here. My poor processor and my computer is just dying here. It doesn't look like they have the picture of an engine.
God, it's adorable.
I would love that damn thing.
It'd drive like fart and have a top speed of 40, but it'd be so fun to tool around town.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cute.
Now that's got 2 batteries on that bad boy.
Uh-huh.
Is that just normal with diesels? I don't know off the top of my head.
It's a good backup to have with diesels, yeah.
Man, that's a beautiful thing. All right, Shawn. I have covered everything that I wanted to share with you, homie. Anything exciting in your life that you want to put out in the universe?
No, just cranking along. Normal. Nothing fancy's happening.
And I'm glad you're surviving work.
I work a night shift 1 day a week now. That's been screwing with my life. Boy, my sleep schedule was bad before. You throw a night shift into the middle of a standard work week, oh my God.
How do your okay, so you just work as long as you like, basically, yeah?
Well, I have to work to finish the job.
Right. I
It's
mean,
not like
some of your days are what, like 16 hours, and some of your days, what, like 6 hours? You get some variance in your days, right?
well, if we have a lot of people working, my day could start at 8 and then end at 3.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the shift I work, my day normally starts at 8, and the earliest I am usually done is 6. So, yeah, you're talking usually it's a 10-hour day.
Excellent.
If I'm night back up, you can assume that I'm probably pulling a 14 or a 16-hour day.
Okay, so here's my question related to that. How many days a week do you do that?
4.
That's great. That's great. I'm, obviously the nursing world I'm involved with. I'm involved with lovely people in my life who are nurses. And the biggest complaint that I hear, nurses often do the 12-hour shifts, which is a tough enough job as it is, but to do it 12 hours. Apparently the most painful is the 2 to 3 in a row, the 1 off, and then the 2 to 3 again. Have you had to do that yet?
No, I mean, honestly, the 1 off would be a nice reset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear there's a lot of suffering with that simply because working overnight, you can't really get a good break on that 1 day off, especially with those. But
you can't expect one. You're just going to sleep. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
Okay.
that's why we all make the big money, right?
Oh yeah. Yes. Yeah, I'm really grateful for this. I genuinely am. My boss at work, bless her heart, I had to do exams at work now, Shawn. I'm at work and I have to stop to go do an exam and then get back to work, which sucks. Like it's a hard shift in the type of stress you're dealing with in the day and then going right back. Anyway, so I'm trying to get ready for this exam, and my boss, bless her heart, she's like, David, I need to talk to you about something. I'm like, blah, 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 some patient complaining about me or something. I'll be right there. She's like, okay, as soon as you can. I really had to go pee. I ran off. I come back, and she's like, Dave, I need to talk to you. And I'm like, okay, let me just grab my computer because I was going in there to do the test. And so I bring it in, and she's like, I need to give you this. And she hands me a letter, right? And I'm like, holy shiz, right?
I'm being fired.
Right. Which, to be fair, at least then I could get unemployment.
Collect unemployment.
While
you're doing schoolwork, yeah.
But it was just a nice letter saying that I was getting a raise as a result of, all of the work and adjustments and so forth. And it would have been a substantial raise under any other circumstances. I think I did the math, and it was somewhere around a 5.5% raise.
That's good.
Which is real good. What's our inflation rate again, though?
I don't know, 7.
Yeah. So thanks for controlling the damage, guys, but that's all that was.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Shawn, I love you. I love doing the podcast. At this point, I feel like I'm just wasting your time, and you probably have to pee. So
not as bad as you would think.
You're drinking your water, though. That's important.
Yeah.
So have yourself an awesome night. Anyone who listened to this point, thank you for sticking around. Please send us messages, and you guys are all awesome, too.
All right. Have a great night, guys.
Bye.
Bye.